Miami, coming to Gainesville. I was going to go to that game, but there's so many games going on. But I can't stand going to Gainesville. I'll tell you what, the last time I went to Gainesville for a game was a spring game in Tim Tebow's first year. That was it. I just can't stand them, man. I just can't. Man, they might be up there with Notre Dame in terms of the can't stand them mode. But yeah, man, but Miami's coming there, and they're a 2.5-point favorite on the road in the swamp. You know what? Florida has a 33-game opening home game winning streak going on. Typically, the opening game is typically a bad team anyways. But the last time they did have a good team, they were the underdog. That's when Utah came in and Florida beat them. And now we have Cam Ward from Washington State, almost the NFL, then at Miami. They're bringing themselves up to Gainesville to try to win this game. The last time out they played Miami, they beat Miami, a young Miami team that still had issues at the quarterback spot. The quarterback spot is supposed to be a bit more secure now than it's been in the past. And I still got to see it to believe it, because I thought Cam Ward was okay, but he reminded me so much of Derek King, who came out of Houston, then to Miami. And I just wasn't impressed, but Canes was jumping all over it because I think it was more of them wanting him to be better than what he was than him actually being that good. And then when I went up to Atlanta to watch them play Alabama, it cured everything. I was convinced he was that bad. I was like,
wow. He doesn't run short on confidence. I saw a short clip interview he did, and I'm trying to remember the exact words he said. It's escaping me, but he doesn't lack for confidence. He was saying something to the effect like, "I got this. I'm electric," or I can't remember exactly, but he was just saying, "Now, pretty much, I'm gonna show you something."
But, he better do something. I mean, he has to do something, because at Washington State, it's not Miami. Miami hasn't been Miami of the past, but this is Mario Cristobal's third season. This is the season where there has to be results. There can't be any excuses. Regardless of what's going on, there cannot be any excuses this year for what happens to Miami if it's negative. Mario Cristobal will be 100% responsible for it.
If he runs victory formation this year.
Bro, this guy. After what happened last season, I have 100% confidence in Mario Cristobal as a recruiter, as a coach. Man, this guy's recruiting is not questioned, isn't to be questioned. He's responsible directly for what Alabama had done, winning national championships. When the year that he won, I think in 2015 or 16, recruiter of the year. He was recruiter of the year, bringing those players to Alabama, which eventually became national champs. So we know he can get the ingredients. What kind of a damn chef is he? Last year, he did burn that meal doing the victory formation, bro. Come on now. Well, not doing it. So I'm just hoping that this year, with all on the line, we're talking NIL, we're talking players that came in transfer portal-wise, the actual recruiting he's done, there has to be some movement on the needle this time around. Not just as a Canes fan, but because this is supposed to be what happens when you have more talent, and this is the most talent from what I see on paper, what the most talent that Miami's had in 10, 15 years. I mean, it clearly seems to be the case. I went down to their spring practice, saw a little bit of what was going on there, and that's spring practice. So guys don't really try to stand out to, against the offense and defense know one another. They're not there to really win or lose. They're there to just work on things they've worked on in practice, and they do a show for the fans. But Mario Cristobal coming into Gainesville, this is a good step forward. It's not Bethune-Cookman. It's not FAMU. It's Florida. And as bad as Florida could be this season, I still think it's a Florida thing, and it's always something interesting happening when Florida teams come together in college, no matter what time of year.
It remains to be seen. You mentioned that streak Florida has starting the season.
Yeah, and exactly. So as a Canes fan,
looking forward to this.
Am I optimistic being a Canes fan, knowing the recent history of the Canes, and I mean recent history being like 10, 15 years, because nothing's really happened. And to see the newest yet prodigal son coming in as a quarterback and hoping for the best. Now, typically you would like to know the best coming in, that you're going to have this opportunity, that you are going to be that good against this team because the swag is there. And I look at the false bravado that some teams can have, and I don't want to call what Miami has right now false bravado. I've been a Canes fan for so long, and I remember the bravado that went into Provo, Utah against Ty Detman and BYU as the #1 team in the country and left with the L. I remember those days, man, and I've seen this nonsense. So, man, I would love to be optimistic. I'm going to run with my Canes, man, but I'm not going to be completely optimistic winning in Gainesville after all the talk. But I'm for Mario Cristobal's sake, I'm taking Miami to win this game. 2.5, nah, they'll win by 10 or more.